necessarily, but it has, because guess who? Well, this is theological, but that's okay. It's historical theology, so that's right. We can touch it. But who is in that kingdom of gay, or who is in the kingdom of heaven that is in gay right now?
Christ.
Well, using guys, right? Usins, right? If you're a Christian, if you hold to the Christian ideas, then you are part of the kingdom of heaven that is in gay, in the area that's still owned by Satan. See? This is historical theology, so we can touch that. This is okay. But, a historical concept. It's very interesting. So, the kingdom of heaven is coming. We have gay and Gehenna. We can't miss that. Now, this is a big problem I have with Zoe versus Suke. We see that both of these words are used to translate life in the Sermon on the Mount. Zoe is, well, you can guess. What do we get out of Zoe? How about zoology? Right? Zoology. Zoology. Something like that. Zoology, right? We have zoology, which is study of what? Well, living things. Living things. Is there a difference between Suke and Zoe?
Yeah.
A ginormous difference between Suke and Zoe, because Suke is the part of the human being that is the breath of life. The mind, you said mind. Mind is really close, because that's why we translate psyche. The mind, the thoughts. But on the other hand, this is specifically pertains to what?
Life.
Life and living things. So if you translate, and this is again, we got the 8 words for love and light that are translated as love. We got how many words? 10 or so words more. I think it's 12 or 13, 14 I've been counting. Words we've got for say and said, but all translated say or said. We got lots of words translated for life, and they're completely different types of life. This is not good to translate this way, in my opinion. Especially when you have the Sermon on the Mount, this cohesive whole. Now, back to the Sermon on the Mount. We have, and I gave you in the cheat sheets, the notes, yes. The gouge, I like to call it gouge. Anyway, I gave you the makars. And I don't like to do this, but I did translate them for you as I showed you the Greek meanings of the words. So you can review that yourself. But what we have, let's outline what we have so far. In the outline, what is the first part of the Sermon on the Mount? It is the
Synopsis.
The synopsis, which are the makars. And that's the synopsis. Okay? Then what do we have? Do you remember?
The body.
Well, we have a body, but what is that body made up of? And the first part that we saw was an attack against Greek religion. And it was specifically the Greek Mysterium. So Christ attacks the Greek culture Mysterium. As a matter of fact, I didn't mention it last week, but salt was included as we usually think theologically, what do you use salt for?
Preservation.
Well, not preservation.
Seasoning.
To cleanse. To cleanse. Remember, in religion, you cleanse. You use salt to cleanse. As a matter of fact, even today, some of the members of the Anglican Church got in trouble because they had that meeting, and they strewed salt under the tables to cleanse, to purify, because salt was used in purification rituals, especially in the Mysterium, as a purification means. So religiously, salt means that. Guess what they use salt in? The Mysteriums. So we see the salt, we saw the light, we saw the light under the bushel, all of those pointing back to the Mysterium. And now the section in 17, as a matter of fact, you see it's I think 6:17. Makars, and here we go. Okay, I think it's 6:17, so correct me if I got it wrong. But after the Makars, it may be 5:17. But anyway, we have the Makars, and we have that thing about the Mysterion. We have, the direct cut on Mysterians that do their work in secret. We have 5:17. Okay, we have the in statements that are directly against the Mysteriums. They relate directly back to the paradoxical blessings. And by the way, the paradoxical blessings, does anyone know what we call a blessing that's not a blessing? A malediction. A malediction. As a matter of fact, some churches do maledictions. A lot of psalms are maledictions. They're anti-blessings. And some churches actually do a malediction. For example, a malediction against abortion. That is common in the Anglican community. In any case, this can be taken as a statement against religion, the religion of Hellenization, but not necessarily against Hellenization itself. How can you tell that?
He's speaking in Greek.
He's speaking in Greek, and he's speaking about Makars. If you really didn't want Hellenization, you would not have spoken in concepts of Makars. You would have spoken in concepts of Psalms, which, by the way, is a word used by Paul in I think, Ephesians. In any case, it's interesting that the argument of the times is right now not about Hellenization, but the effects of Hellenization. But again, that goes back to what I told you before. We're seeing in Christ you can think about this theologically, but the thinking here of the Christ is to go from D-rash thinking to Greek rational thinking. And that's what we're seeing here. So, the next section, this is what it starts with. Do not think, that is, do not do by law, nomizo. Do not think that I have come to abolish, kataleo, to loosen the law, the nomos, or the prophets. Now there's an important thing by him saying the law and the prophets. Remember I told you last week he left out the ketivim. He included the nivim, which is the prophets. But it's interesting that he points out to the law and the prophets, because if he just said the nomos, what could he have been mistaken for saying?
Abolishing the other guys?
Well, he could have been thought saying that, but the nomos, in Greek, nomos means just law in general. But if I say the law and the prophets, what do you automatically know I'm talking about? The Torah. So by saying law and prophets, he set in stone that he's talking to you about the law.
Very thorough.
The law. You can't miss this. As a matter of fact, I want you to not miss this because, and I hope I can find it. If you look down in 7, in chapter 7, in chapter 7, at the end, where is that? In chapter 7 at the end, there is another statement about the law. Did someone find it before me?
Verse 23.
Verse 23. Verse 23, 26, someone said?
No, 28 and 29.
28 and 29. No, there's another one. It says specifically about the law, about the law. Where is that one? It's right at the end.
The last verse,
29. Oh yeah, that talks about the law, about teaching about the law, but there's another one in here that is earlier. Is it 27? Okay, I'm wasting time. When we get there, we'll see
No,
it.
here you go, Lyle. It's 12.
12.
So on everything, do
Yes.
others.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Dave. Exactly. 12. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets. So, do you see this? Okay, put your Greek hats on. Put your English hats on, for that matter. If I put a section where I say, this is all about the law, which is 17. I've not come to abolish the law and the prophets. I've come to, it's about the law, right? And then I end that section with, so in everything, this is the law and the prophets. What does that mean about everything between those two sections? It's all about the law. So, therefore, with every statement that is made in the Makars, or in the Sermon on the Mount, between those two sections, what does it pertain to? The law. Do not forget that. If you forget that, you are going to be so messed up in understanding the Makars and the Sermon on the Mount that you won't be able to recover. So, it says,
Oh dear.
do not
Forward to those who didn't
imagine
come today.
by law that I have come to abolish or loosen. It's literally loosen. Katalua, loosen the law. Destroy the law is a wrong term because it's loosened. In other words, the law that Christ teaches is going to be what compared to the Torah?
Verbatim.
Exactly, with no loosening, low lightning. I have not come to abolish or loosen them, and he says it twice to make sure you don't miss it, but to cram them full. To cram them full. Christ has been talking about the Greek mysterium. He goes immediately to break religious culture. And he tells them that, you see what he's doing here? He's warning them against the Greek mysterium, against becoming Hellenized in their religious thinking. And then he tells them what should be the basis of their thinking?
The law.
the Torah, the law. Isn't it beautiful? We have Makar, body. We have a synopsis, body. The next one he goes. Let's see, 18. I tell you the truth. Literally, this is what it says. Amen, I lego you. Amen, I lego you. I tell you the truth. Lego, an argument. Until Oranos and gay parakumai. Get this. This is beautiful. It's not disappear. It's literally when heaven, when Oranos and gay become so close to one another you can't discern the two. Until you can't discern the two. Paraklomai means they come so close that you cannot tell the difference between the two. Not the smallest letter, and the word is iota, which is the smallest Hebrew letter. So it's not Greek, it's iota. It is literally the smallest Hebrew letter. Nor the least stroke of a pen, it is karaya, which is the crown over the name Jehovah. So when if I'm writing a scholar, if I'm a scribe, a grammateus, a Hebrew grammateus, and I write Jehovah, the word, and I'm not going to do it in the Hebrew, so don't offend me. I do it in my novels, but I don't do it here because I don't have the fonts. So Jehovah, there is a crown that is placed over each of the letters. It looks kind of like this. So not the smallest letter, nor the smallest incidental mark is to be taken from the law. Yes, sir?
Didn't it used to be jot and tittle?
Well, that's our translation. But I'm just telling you what it really says. It says it's a Hebraic word, Hebrew word that says iota, which is the smallest letter in the Hebrew. And the letter is this. This is the letter. I can write one of those. I have trouble with the other types. Greek's easy, this is hard. But in Hebraic letters, this is the smallest, this is an iota. And also, by the way, iota is a Greek letter. It's like this. But in any case, or a crown, a kareya, the crown on the top of Jehovah. This is an incidental mark. Do you see how strong this is? Okay? So I hope you're doing the Torah, because if you're not doing the Torah, then, well, he's going to tell you what's going to happen to you. He says, not smallest in the crown, will by no means, and by the way, the word is ome, by never, never, will never, never. Parakomai. Parakomai. In other words, until heaven and earth become so close that they can't be discerned from one another, the law will never not be able to be discerned. Never, never not be able to be discerned. This is pretty strong. Mm-hmm. This is about as strong as you could get. Let's see. Not a never, never come near enough from the law, the nomos, until everything is accomplished. And literally, it's ginomai means the end of the heavens and the earth. So this lasts until, and we say until it's fulfilled. Telestai. But it's not telestai at all. It is until it is ginomai. Until the end of the heavens and earth, literally. This is strong stuff. So how strong and important is the law, according to Jesus the Christ?
Very.
Now he goes on. You should take a warning. Anyone who breaks, and it's not breaks, it's luo, loosens. Anyone who loosens. Okay? Breaking, we think about breaking. What is breaking in our minds when you break a commandment? Sinning. He's not talking about breaking. What is he talking about?
Fudging.
Fudging. Okay? For example, it says not adultery. Adultery includes sex out of marriage. Well, that's kind of fudging, right? Isn't it? Multiple sexual partners, well, that's kind of fudging. That's loosening.
A little man's line to it.
Yeah. Well, man, and he's going to get to that point, but loosening. One of the least of these, the intola injunctions, and didacasto teaches, others do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Remember, what is his message? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is coming near.